So I had my son test both of these out, the original AirPods Max and the brand new AirPods Max 2. He's 11 years old, better hearing than me, and the first thing he said, at max volume, the originals sound a little muddy compared to the new ones. Okay, fine, maybe that wasn't his exact terminology. He's only 11 years old. He doesn't know what muddiness is, but he said they sound clear. And he's right. Like, I tested it for myself going back and forth. The original sounds good until you put on the Max 2 and realize the high end is just cleaner. It's not a huge difference, but it is cleaner. There's more separation. But here's the thing. Apple barely changed anything on the outside. It has the same design, same weight, same battery, same case. So what's actually going on inside that makes them sound different? That's what we're gonna talk about today. And look, the biggest upgrade for most people is probably gonna be noise cancellation. Apple says it's up to 1.5 times more effective, so I tested it out for myself. First, with ambient noise, just the heater running in my office, then with a blow dryer, which is way more aggressive. Now, the improvement isn't night and day if you're in a quiet room, but in louder environments, planes, trains, coffee shops, you can feel the difference. It's not massive, but it is noticeable. The Max 2 just handles sustained low frequency noise better. That's where the originals always struggled a bit. Like, they're good, but these are just better now. Now, the thing that actually surprised me the most was the microphones. These have been improved a lot. Like, if you're someone who's going to use these for podcast calls or even just a backup audio source, they sound noticeably better than the originals.
So right now you're hearing my voice recorded directly through the AirPods Max microphones. We're doing with no background noise right now, just a simple, clear audio test. And again, I'm not using my studio mic, no processing, no EQ. This is exactly what the other person would hear if you called them right now.
And right now you're hearing my voice recorded directly through the AirPods Max 2 microphones, the latest generation. I'm not using any studio mics. There's no processing, no EQ. This is exactly what the other person would hear if you called them right now. And also, if you're in a loud environment, you're gonna find voice isolation on calls is significantly better now than before. The H2 chip runs machine learning on the headphones and your iPhone simultaneously to isolate your voice and suppress the background noise. Here's that test so you can see the difference.
Right now you're hearing my voice recorded directly through the AirPods Max microphone with a blow dryer in the background. I'm not using my studio mic. There's no processing. There's no EQ. This is exactly what the other person would hear if you called them right now.
Right now, you're hearing my voice being recorded directly through the AirPods Max 2 microphones. I'm not using my studio mic. There's no processing. There's no EQ. This is exactly what the other person would hear if you called them right now. So here's the thing. Why does everything sound better? Well, it comes down to one specific change. Apple swapped the H1 chip for the H2, and that matters more than it sounds. The H2 has over 1 billion transistors. That's double what the H1 had. But it's not just raw power. Apple completely rebuilt the DSP that drives these custom 40mm drivers. They retuned it specifically for the H2, and they redesigned the adaptive EQ algorithm. That's the software that adjusts audio based on the shape of your head and ears and how the cushions seal around them. So you're getting a better amplifier with more dynamic range, less distortion at high volumes, and smarter software that adapts to how you specifically wear them. That's why the highs are cleaner. That's why the bass response is more consistent. It's not a new driver, it's a smarter brain behind the same driver. But does it sound massively different day to day? Honestly, no. The sound signature is the same. Still that U-shaped tuning, a bit bass heavy but controlled. You're not gonna put on the Max 2 and think the original sounded bad. But when you swap back and forth, you listen for it, you hear it.
At every chord I strike cries your name. Won't you come back home again?
The originals get a little muddy at the top end at higher volumes. The Max 2 stays clean. And transparency mode
got a bump as well. The original AirPods Max already had industry-leading transparency. Like, it was good. These take it up to another level. Is it massive? Again, no. But it's 100% noticeable switching between the two headphones. It just sounds more natural, like you're not wearing headphones. There's less digital noise. So right now, the 3DO microphone is wearing the AirPods Max with transparency mode on. And this is what my voice sounds like coming through. And right now you're listening to the AirPods Max 2 with transparency mode on. And this is what my voice sounds like coming through them. Now, if you've used AirPods Pro 3, a lot of this will sound familiar. Like the H2 brings all those features to the Max for the first time, like adaptive audio, which automatically blends ANC and transparency based on your environment. No more toggling it on manually. Conversation awareness lowers your music when you start talking to someone. Siri head gestures, nod yes, shake no. I actually use this on my AirPods 4 and it's great to have it here now. Now, live translation is there too, and I'll be honest, I still think it needs more work to be accurate, and wearing full over-ear headphones while having a conversation with someone feels a bit rude compared to just popping out an AirPod. And you can now use the digital crown as a camera remote now. Press it to take a photo or start and stop a video. It's kind of niche, but it's now there if you need it as well. But here's the thing. Everything I just talked about is internal. On the outside, nothing has really changed. Like, look, it's the same design, same 385 grams. For reference, Sony and Sennheiser use more plastic, which makes them lighter. I can wear those for hours. The Max, about 2 hours before my head starts to feel it. If the originals felt heavy before, these will feel exactly the same. Battery life, still 20 hours with ANC. Sony gives you 30, Sennheiser gives you up to 56. Apple didn't improve this at all. So if 20 wasn't enough in 2020, it won't be either in 2026. And the Smart Case is identical. Same thin material, no power button, cups still don't fold. They take up more space in your bag than the competition. If that bothered you before, it's the same deal. You're trading practicality for a very gorgeous design. You gotta ask yourself, design first, or do you want a more practical style of headphones? Now, Bluetooth did go up from 5.0 to 5.3. You get lower latency, which I did notice in specific applications, specifically gaming. Now, this won't be a big deal for most. Like, I personally don't use AirPods Max for gaming, but if you want a better low latency feel, these will now do it. But the one thing I want to touch on is lossless audio. You plug in the USB-C cable and you get 24-bit, 48 kilohertz high-res audio. You can't get this wirelessly. It has to be wired. And it's noticeable. It's like another layer gets added to the music. There's more depth, there's more texture. And here's a fun one. If you have an Android phone, like I tested this with the Galaxy Fold 7, plug in the USB-C cable, open Apple Music, and high-res lossless works. Just make sure to enable it in the settings. You lose a bunch of features like auto pause when you take them off, but if all you care about is sound quality over a wire, it does work with Android. Also worth noting, latency in general is just better. Like when I put on the original AirPods Max, it felt like it had to catch up for a second. The Max 2 transitions are smoother. Music starts faster. It's a small thing, but you will notice it. So the big question, should you buy these? And look, here's the honest answer. If you have the original Lightning AirPods Max from 2020 and you want USB-C, better ANC, better mics, and all the H2 features, then yeah, go for it. But if you have the 2024 USB-C model, the one I call the 1.5s, it's hard to justify. You already have lossless audio and USB-C. The sound improvement is there, but it's very incremental. Like if you're buying premium headphones for the first time and you're deep into Apple's ecosystem, you'll be happy with them. Just know what you're getting yourself into. They're heavy, the battery's average, the case is mediocre, but the sound, the ANC, and the ecosystem integration are the best Apple has ever done. Either way, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.